There we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Liquor Control Commission for Monday, October 4th, 2021. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Commissioner Kruger?
Present.
Commissioner Papantos?
Present.
Commissioner Lang?
Here.
Commissioner Raffato?
Here.
And Commissioners Vito and Vogel expected to be absent with prior notice.
Thank you, ma'am. You have before you the minutes of the special meeting of August 16th, 2021. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Motion, Trustee Commissioner Papantos, second.
Second.
Commissioner Raffato, roll call, please.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Raffato?
Yes.
And Chairperson Horker?
Yes. Citizen concerns and comments?
We do not have any today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Turn my page.
New business.
New business, A.
Consideration of a request for a Class N-V liquor license for Deep Entertainment doing business as Gia's, a proposed video gaming cafe at 1940 South Wolf Road.
Mr. Crotty, what do we got?
Thank you. As Clerk Brady just mentioned, this is a consideration of a Class NV liquor license for a proposed video gaming cafe at 1940 South Wolf Road. The owner of Deep Entertainment, which is seeking the license, actually is the owner of an existing restaurant with video gaming, Bella's. And at that site there have been no issues and no citations. So staff is recommending conditional approval conditioned on passage of an ordinance by the Board of Trustees authorizing the creation of a new Class NV liquor license and also satisfactory background check results. I understand that the owner is here today. And
Thank you.
Come on up here for any questions.
Do we have any questions from the commission? Nobody to my right, nobody to my left.
Thank you.
Nice of you to be here. If there's no questions or comments, I need a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
Motion, Commissioner Kruger, second, Commissioner Papantos. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Raffato?
No.
Chairperson Horker?
Yes.
4.
Yes.
6B.
Hold on, just one moment.
Oops.
Please. No, you're doing fine. Mr. Frollo, just for the benefit of everybody watching and who might not be aware of the civics of the evening,
Right.
could you explain what has to happen tonight as far as votes go?
Sure, and that's really going to be more for the village, at the village board level.
But
I just didn't hear the vote on this.
Oh.
But when we get to the board level, because we have 5 trustees tonight, it will take 4 trustees to approve all ordinances as well as all resolutions that either spend money or create a liability. So a 3-2 vote will not be enough relative to any of the ordinances or resolutions on the village board agenda, and that's pursuant to the Illinois Municipal Code. So,
Attorney Frola. Attorney Frola.
Yep,
Commissioner.
If I may, does that mean that that resolution or ordinance would fail?
yes, correct.
Thank you.
But at the commission level here, this was a 4-1 vote. 3-2 would have been sufficient at the commission level. The board, it's definitely distinguished because this is not a resolution or an ordinance.
Okay.
Thanks.
That concludes our civics lesson for the evening. Thank you. He's also our parliamentarian. Now, Clerk Brady.
Okay. 6B, hearing in the matter of Bond Drug Company of Illinois, LLC, doing business as Walgreens, number 04941, at 10 North Milwaukee Avenue, docket number 21-02.
Prosecutor Riebman, I believe you're up.
Good evening, everybody. The matters that I have tonight are
You can take the mask off when you're there,
Oh,
so
okay.
we can hear you.
We had it before you tonight with regard to the Liquor Commission. Were 3 petitions that were filed. There were, notice was given in May to 50 establishments that sell liquor, that there would be random checks in the month of June. Notice was given by letter and also in person. Of those 50, there were 3 establishments that were cited during the compliance checks that were taking place during the month of May. And I understand one of the establishments, Mom and Dad's Pantry, is no longer in business, and they may have given up their liquor license at this point. Am I correct?
They have surrendered their license, Attorney Reedman.
In any event, I represent the Wheeling Chief of Police, James Dunn, and petitions have been filed with regard to Bond Drug Company of Illinois, LLC, doing business as Walgreens. And the allegations are that on June 29th, an underage purchaser came in along with a Wheeling police officer, and the underage police officer, underage youth came in to purchase a 1 6-pack of Miller Lite beer. It was approximately 6:04 on June 29th, and the underage youth went to the counter. Sherry Gutierrez asked her identification from the minor. What was shown to her was a valid Illinois identification card with a date of birth that was under the age of 21. It's my understanding that she took that identification and may have slid it on a machine, but in either event, she had an opportunity to view the fact that there was an underage person before her, and she did sell the 6-pack of beer. There were police officers observing all the events that took place. The statute that was violated here was under the Wheeling Municipal Code, Section 4.32165, which requires that a liquor establishment not sell, give, or deliver alcoholic liquor to a person under the age of 21. And that's what happened on that day.
Is a member of the respondent present from Bond Company?
I've been asking around to see if anybody was here. I spoke with Walgreens today, and they thought that a lawyer was going to show, but I haven't seen anybody.
You know, that being the case, we're going to need to hear from the respondent to at least testify or stipulate
See if they
to the
agree
facts.
and/or
Yeah,
if admitted.
but we'll need them to stipulate under oath, so perhaps we can continue this hearing and go to the next one.
That's fine.
And go from there.
So I'm going to C now?
Yeah, we'll be going to C now, Elsa's Restaurant Group.
Okay. 6C, hearing in the matter of Elsa's Restaurant Group Wheeling doing business as Elsa's at 735 North Milwaukee Avenue, docket number 21-03.
Counselor Reedman.
Yes, the owners of the restaurant are here, I believe. Can you step up? In addition to what I've already stated with regard to, let me introduce them. I did speak with them a couple days ago and earlier this evening. Both of you want to come up? Or just one of you is fine. And will you step up here and will you state your name, please?
Hi, my name is Yash Mori, 49% owner of the company.
Last name is spelled M-O-R-I, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Mr.
And you were-
Reedman, before you go on, could you just have the court reporter swear him in, perhaps?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. In this particular instance, again, there were compliance checks on June 29th. There was a compliance check that took place at Elsa's at approximately 7:10. The man that was at the counter was a gentleman by the name of John C. Mateanis, Maeetanis. There had been notice, as I stated earlier, in May to all of the establishments. The underage youth with police officers observing him went in and asked for 1 bottle of Miller Lite beer, handed an identification which was in fact a valid ID, and that valid ID showed that he was under the age of 21. He handed that ID to John Mateanis, and after doing that, the young man paid, gave a $20 bill, which was a marked $20 bill, and paid and was given change, and he left with the beer, and the officers came in, retrieved the $20 bill, gave back the change, and gave back the beer. Do you agree that that's what the evidence would be?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Can I ask a couple of questions? What is your position with the company?
I'm a part owner, sir.
Okay. You're a part owner of Elsa's Restaurant Group, LLC?
Yes, sir.
All righty. And does your company have a written policy regarding the sale and service of alcohol?
Yes, we do, sir.
Okay. And regarding this particular violation that occurred on June 29th of 2021, did you take any actions relative to what had occurred?
Yes, so me and my partner both went the next day, very next day, and talked to the employee, John, and we also made sure he knows what went just the previous night, and we made sure that those kind of mistakes never happen in the same establishment again, so we made a handbook for employees regarding the rules, and we also made sure to put the which date to say on the licenses above, like 2000, year 2000 and before that are allowed to serve alcohol, never below anyone after 2001, 2002. Right?
Okay. And are you familiar with Bassett training?
Yes.
Are your servers and employees Bassett trained?
Yes, all of them are Bassett trained, sir.
And you have certificates for all of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I don't have any other questions, Mr. Reedman or the
I have
commission.
nothing for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Commissioner Papantos has a question.
You can go ahead.
Thank you. If this youth had not chosen to order alcohol and a police officer standing there, am I hearing that somebody could come in who's 19 years old and gamble?
No, ma'am. So the thing was, his glasses were broken, and he wasn't able to clearly see the year, date of birth. That was the reason it was happening, but we made sure that that never happens again because
You're talking about Mr. Mateanis?
Yes, yes.
Are you aware that in the state of Illinois, IDs for those under 21 are vertical and those over
Yes.
21 aren't? So one would think that glasses are not. It's a pretty easy signal that the person who's in a gaming establishment, I thought that your rules were if you're not 21, you can't walk in the door.
Yes, that's correct, ma'am. Yes, so we made sure that that thing never happens again, and we made him go with the training all over again so that he knows that this should not be repeated again.
So do you card people as they come in?
Yes, everyone.
That's-
Regardless of the age, we made sure that the person who is going to enter has a valid ID who is about 21 years of age, regardless of the age or however old they look.
And how long have you been open?
We have been open since October 2020.
Okay, thank you.
I came in, would your card be too?
Absolutely, sir.
Good, absolutely good. I'm going to tell my wife somebody thinks I'm younger than I really am. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Ferrolo, I'm sorry, Commissioner Lang, did you,
No.
you moved.
I thought you might have something.
I moved. One last
Mr.
question.
Ferrolo.
You have received and read the petition relative to this matter? Okay. I have nothing further. I think we have enough to take this matter under advisement.
Okay.
If the
Have
Attorney
the-
Reedman rests this case?
Yes, we do rest.
All right.
We have no other evidence at this time. Let us see if we're going to deliberate a few minutes.
Did we have anybody from Walgreens show up? I didn't see anybody come in.
So Attorney Reedman, relative to Walgreens, I don't believe do you have the officer here that
I do have 2 officers.
received because we could go through a prove-up, or we could continue this to a subsequent date of the commission, which is probably the easier thing to do, but I'll leave that up to the commission. A prove-up would be, Mr. Reedman, you'd have to call the participants, the individual that purchased the alcohol would testify before you, the officer that witnessed the purchase would testify before you.
So we would need the officer and the
Right.
buyer and,
Or we can continue this to a subsequent date of the commission and hear whether Walgreens pleads guilty or not, which is typical.
choice? Okay,
Yeah.
Commissioner Rufato, choice?
I would continue it.
Commissioner
And I
Kruger?
have no problem, of course. And I can arrange for people to be here on any day.
Continue.
Commissioner Lang?
Yeah, I'd like Walgreens in here.
Sure. Commissioner Papantos?
Continue.
I think it would be easiest to have Walgreens here as well. So we need to have a little recess now?
Yes, correct.
Do we need to make a motion to continue? Then,
That's a good point. Let's do a motion to continue the Walgreens matter to a subsequent liquor commission date that will be determined.
so moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Rufato.
I'll second.
Commissioner Lang was that? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Popantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Rufato?
Yes.
Chairperson Horker?
Yes. We're going to go in the back executive session room. We can
Yeah, motion
mask
to
up.
recess into
Yeah.
executive session.
We need a
for the
motion to
purpose- Go ahead, I'm
recess
sorry.
into executive session.
So moved.
Commissioner Rufato, second.
Second?
Commissioner Papantos, recess.
We need a roll call on that?
Oh, I'm
Roll call,
sorry.
please. Yep. And can I state for the record, that's for the purpose of deliberating evidence that we heard here today.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Popantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Rufato? Chairperson Horker?
Yes. Okay, back now, recess. We'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, teacher's back. I need a motion to reconvene into open session.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Kruger, second. Commissioner Papantos, roll call, please.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Rufato?
Yes.
Chairperson Horker?
Yes, Attorney Ferrolo, would you please read the decision of the board so that we can make a motion publicly to whether or not we want to do this?
Certainly. Thank you, Commissioner Horker. Relative to the evidence we just heard regarding the liquor violation against Elsa Restaurant Group of Wheeling LLC, the commission has decided to impose the following penalty: a fine of $250, a requirement that the licensee pay the court reporter costs for this evening. Additionally, the licensee must turn into the village clerk certificates of completion of BASA training for all employees of the establishment that are involved in the sale or service of liquor. And finally, the licensee must supply to the village clerk the business's written policy relative to the sale and service of alcoholic beverages. An order will be drafted pending this motion, which will set forth the dates by which all of this needs to be done. So if we can have a motion, please.
Who would make that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Commissioner Papantos, second Commissioner Rufato. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Rufato?
Yes.
Chairperson Horker?
Yes, and that is for Elsa's Restaurant Group. That concludes our business. I need a motion to adjourn the Liquor Commission.
So moved.
Commissioner Rufato, second.
Second.
Commissioner Lang, all in favor?
Aye.
Liquor Commission for the evening is adjourned. We need to call to order the regular meeting of October 4th, 2021 for the Village of Wheeling Board. Clerk Simpson, sorry, Clerk
See, you
Brady,
got me
roll
back.
call, please. 20 years is
Trustee
hard to
Kruger?
get over.
Present.
Trustee Papantos?
Present.
Trustee Lang?
Here.
Trustee Rufato?
Here.
President Horker?
I am here. You have before you the minutes of the regular meeting of August 16th, 2021. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Trustee Papantos, second Trustee Rufato. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, you also have before you the minutes of the September 1st meeting, 2021 for the Village Board. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second.
Give the motion to Trustee Kruger, second to Trustee Rufato. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. There's many fine people to be sworn in, and so at this evening. Any changes to the agenda?
There are none, Mr. President.
Proclamations, congratulatory resolutions, and awards. Clerk Brady, what do we got?
John Baumgartner Day, October 5th, 2021. Whereas John Baumgartner, began his employment as firefighter, paramedic with the Wheeling Fire Department on September 9th, 1996, was promoted to lieutenant paramedic on January 24th, 2008, to battalion chief on March 1st, 2010, and whereas though through the years John Baumgartner was held assignments as self-contained breathing apparatus committee chairman, fire engine annual pump testing committee chairman, president of the Wheeling Firefighters Association, lieutenant and baton chief. And whereas throughout his career, John Baumgartner has dedicated himself to make Wheeling a safer place to live and work. And whereas after 25 years of dedicated service with the Wheeling Fire Department, John Baumgartner is retiring. Patrick Horker, president of the Village of Wheeling, does hereby proclaim October 5th, 2021 as John Baumgartner Day in the Village of Wheeling in recognition and appreciation of his many years of dedicated service to the community and the fire department.
Mr. Baumgartner, you must be here. He's not here.
Deputy Chief Mella is going to accept.
Well, we have a.
John could not be present today. He is at a different village board meeting right now, speaking up for some issues that affect the town that he lives in. But he did want to send his sincere thanks to everyone, and make sure that everyone knew that he loved his 25 years here in Wheeling.
Thank you.
I think he still deserves applause.
Yes. Clerk Brady.
Proclamation for Manufacturing Month, October 2021. Whereas innovative technologies, new well springs of manufacturing entrepreneurship, and our county's increasing competitiveness are fueling the revitalization of America's manufacturing. And whereas over the next decade, millions of manufacturing jobs will likely be needed, and 2.1 million may go unfilled due to the skills gap. And whereas ensuring that America is at the forefront of the 21st century, manufacturing requires research, investment, and a workforce processing high-tech skills. And whereas Wheeling has one of the strongest manufacturing sectors of all Illinois community, with over 14 million square feet of industrial space. And whereas the Wheeling community benefits from the efforts of shared interest groups like the Greater Wheeling Chamber of Commerce and Industrial, and well as for innovative partnerships between manufacturing, educators, and other local stakeholders. And whereas the Illinois Manufacturing Association has declared October as Manufacturing Month as a way to help to introduce students to the wide array of occupations that may be up modern manufacturing and awaken the creativity spirit in each student. Patrick Horker, President of the Village of Wheeling, does hereby proclaim October 2021 to be Manufacturing Month in the Village of Wheeling and call upon the citizens of Wheeling to join in the recognizing the critical contributions that manufacturing makes to the prosperity of our region, our state, and our country.
Thank you, Clerk Brady. Administration of oaths. Clerk Brady,
Who's first?
well, just,
Senior Commissioner. Paul Butler.
what? Appointment, yes, I'm sorry.
Senior Commissioner.
Appointments, Senior Commissioner Paul Butler.
Oh, is he here?
Oh, I need a motion.
Oh, yeah.
If I do this long enough, I'll figure it out. I need a motion to appoint to the Senior Commission Paul Butler.
So moved.
Second?
Motion, Commissioner Papantos, second, Trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Butler needs to be sworn. Thank you. I don't know, John's gone one night, the whole thing just falls
I
apart.
don't know what to tell you. It's nothing new.
Okay. Is it on? Raise your right hand. Paul Butler,
I, Paul Butler,
having been appointed to the Senior Citizens Commission,
having been appointed to the Senior
Citizen Commission,
Citizens Commission
in the Village of Wheeling,
in the Village of Wheeling,
in the counties of Cook and Lake,
in the counties of Cook and Lake,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of Commissioner
of the Office of Commissioner
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
So now, also this evening, we will be swearing in a new battalion chief, James Theobald. Please come forward.
Mr. Butler, thank you for your service.
This is the fun part of the job. It's the fun part of all our jobs. When you get to sharing a milestone of someone's life and their career and see the outgoing of support from not only the board, trustees, management, the department heads, members of the Wheeling Fire Department, retirees, family members. We have members, Captain Menching from Northbrook thought enough of Jim to come out tonight. So with that, again, as you see, we don't come alone. We don't go to work alone. When we leave, every day or every shift day, we bring these people with us. So that's it makes me proud to be able to share in this with Jim because he deserves it. And what can I say about Jim? Without further ado, this is Lieutenant James Theobald. He's a hometown hero, lived right across the street. You can see where his probably buried some things in the yard that we don't want to know about. But his father, Rich, was on the Wheeling Fire Department, and he retired as a deputy chief. So it is in his family also. And he's here, and also Chief McIsaac's here, and some of the other trustees. But Jim is unique. That's what anybody says when we say, what about Jim, Lieutenant Theobald? He's unique. And unique in many ways. He's one of the most intelligent, driven, dedicated people I've ever met. Jim's soul being, I've been here for 4 years. I've never heard him say "I" once. It's always about the team. It's bringing the guys home safe. It's doing what's right for the public. And again, he's legacy, so it's near and dear to his heart. So he is one of a kind. Every day he's there. He'll come up 2 or 3, 4 times checking with us, right, Steve? He'll come in. What do you need? Can I help you? How can I help? What do you need from me? And that's rare. And it's still, keep tabs on the group. So I'm very proud, and I'm very proud of him. He deserves it. And Battalion Chief James Theobald. He's got 18 years on, and he's been a lieutenant for 9 years. So we're looking forward to another 10 years out of him. So we have a kind of a tradition in the fire service, like we said. And when you get promoted or you get sworn in for the first time, which you'll have someone here also, you get pinned by someone that means something special to you, whether it's a family member, whether it's a mentor, whatever it is. And in this case, Jim chose his father. Jim's going to come up. He's going to introduce his family because he's got quite a posse here today.
Can we swear him in?
Can we swear him in?
We should probably swear him in.
Can we swear him in first?
Can we swear him in first?
Oh, yes. Yep. Hey, why don't we swear him in first?
It's nice to hear it. I'm happy the whole family's here, but
Raise your right hand, please. Make sure you're talking to that so they can hear you. I know you can take it off.
All right, we got this.
I, James Theobald,
I, James Theobald,
having been promoted to the position of Battalion Chief
having been promoted to the position of Battalion Chief
in the Fire Department of the Village of Wheeling,
in the Fire Department of the Village of Wheeling,
in the counties of Cook and Lake,
in the counties of Cook and Lake,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the position of Battalion Chief
of the position of Battalion Chief
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
make it real quick. I appreciate you guys all coming. Family, obviously, just met my dad. He's there. My mom, unfortunately, couldn't make it. I got a lot of family here. I don't know where to start. Family, just not even my own family. It's all you guys. But first priority's got to be my wife, Lois. She obviously my daughter Claudia, she's solid. My boys, Andrew, Waylon, over there. My brother never let me ever quit on myself or anybody else. Cousins, I got everybody, guys. I could spend years on this, but I just want to make sure that everybody realizes that lieutenant is where it's hard to get. It really is. Chief Baumgartner, he worked so hard for us. It's good to see him get some kind of recommendation or reference, anything, just being acknowledged. But it's all about relationships, guys. And I got to thank, Chief Macauley to begin with, taught me that knowledge is everything. That you got to know the town, you got to be good. To a dad who told me the job's not done until the day is over and you've got nothing left to give. A brother who always told me, good isn't good if it can be better, and better is not good enough if it can be best. I got some of the best guys ever, and I'm not a magician. I can't turn, lead into gold. The only reason why I'm here is because everybody around here has been gold. They've always boosted me up and taken care of me. And I really, it means the world to me, guys. I want to thank all of you, each and every one of you. You really got me here. Thank you very much.
Now Lieutenant Jason Macauley. Deputy Chief Mella, want to say a few words?
I'll wait till after sworn in.
Okay.
Excellent process.
Raise your right hand, please. I, Jason Macauley,
I, Jason Macauley,
having been promoted to the position of lieutenant
having been promoted to the position of lieutenant
in the fire department of the village of Wheeling,
in the fire department of the village of Wheeling,
in the counties of Cook and Lake,
in the counties of Cook and Lake,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the position of lieutenant
of the position of lieutenant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We have Jason's wife, Jody, pin him with his lieutenant's badge. Just straight in. We're old. Straight in. Jason's one of 4 firefighters that were sworn in on September 10th, 2001. So the day after his swearing in, obviously the world kind of changed for us. And your entire career with us has basically been in a post 9/11 world. 3 of you are still with us, and 1 moved on to the FBI and is in the upper Midwest right now. Couldn't be prouder than to work with you, to see you promoted to lieutenant. The work you've put in over the years, both as an acting officer, as our union president for years, he's always had the best interests of the village and of the guys at heart. Congratulations.
As far as family goes, my wife Jody, which is, that's it. That's all I got. My daughter's at Prairie University and my parents are in Galena, so they couldn't none of them could make it. But thanks for all my brothers, the rest of my family for coming, and appreciate everything everybody here's done for me. Look forward to working with Jimmy here, who I've known for 18 years, and thank Chief McGrill and Deputy Chief Mellon. And looking forward to promotion. Thanks.
And that brings us to Andrew Budnik.
Hello. Okay, just make sure you talk into that right there. Raise your right hand. I, Andrew Budnik,
I, Andrew Budnik,
having been appointed to the position of firefighter paramedic
having been appointed the position of firefighter paramedic
in the fire department of the village of Wheeling,
of the fire department of the village of Wheeling
in the counties of Cook and Lake,
in the counties of Cook and Lake,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the position of firefighter paramedic
of the position of firefighter paramedic
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And of Andrew's father, Battalion Chief Jerry Budnik, and his son.
No, that's
We'll put a hole in his new suit here, too.
Just put it through the buttonhole if you want.
I'll just put it on the
There we go. Andrew? Coming from a firefighting background, I think more than most, you probably know what you're getting yourself into. You happen to be coming on board at the 125th anniversary of the Wheeling Fire Department. We're very, very glad to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I would like to thank all of you for sharing your families with us this evening when you're being sworn in and for your promotions. And I know I say it every time these things happen, but we really do appreciate all of you sharing your families with us, and we do understand that your families are sharing you with us as well. That sounded clumsy, but the fact of the matter is we know that the jobs you do are not a 9-to-5. You can't leave it when you go home. It is a very big commitment, and your families that support you, those of you who do this job, we do all appreciate what you give, as well as those of you who are the firefighter paramedics, the lieutenants, the battalion chiefs, the chiefs. Chief McIsaac's, good to see you. Thank you all for all you give. Thank you. Want to take 5 minutes so they can...
You can do that?
We don't do cake and coffee anymore because it's...
No. Somebody pull a fire alarm, that'll get them out.
Do we have any... Do we have any signatures? They don't keep this. We have to see.
No. Thank God.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
He's
Is he really?
So...
Yeah, he's not neither so I recognized him walking, I was like, somebody's dad, Northbrook. And they're tight.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get to
There we go.
It's like herding cattle.
Thank you, Chief.
Oh, yeah. Very. Everybody out. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's true. COVID hole.
All right, we do have the rest of our meeting to attend to. This is a very nice distraction early on. I have been told that there are no citizens comments, so that brings us to staff reports. Mr. Kaup, you have a Wolf Road update for us?
I do. President Horker, trustees, I wanted to give you a brief update on the continuing IDOT managed Wolf Road project. The coming days will see the end of Phase 1. The coming days will see the end of Phase 1, which included the one-way northbound only traffic on Wolf Road, and we'll be transitioning to Phase 2 of the construction. On Wednesday, the contractor will pave the final lift of asphalt along Dundee Road and the Dundee-Wolf intersection. This Friday, October the 8th, weather pending, the traffic pattern will switch to allow both north and southbound directions of travel. It'll be one lane in each direction, and Dundee will be completely opened as well, which will include 2 lanes of traffic in each direction on Friday as well. Mayor Avenue and Picardy Lane will also be reopened. During the week of October the 11th, the contractor will focus on sidewalk construction on all of the side streets. They will then begin removal of the asphalt on the east side of Manchester and the east side of Strong to do any underground utility construction necessary and germane as part of the project. Those 2 roads east of Wolf will be closed until November, at which time the temporary pavement will be reinstalled and those roads will be open for the winter. These dates, as I said, are weather dependent and may be pushed back if the contractor is delayed. Also, staff is meeting with Waste Management on Wednesday to discuss coordinating garbage pickup on the east side of Wolf once the transition takes place. And of course, and as always, we'll be providing updates additionally to the board as the situation changes.
Thank you, Mr. Kaup. Chief Dunn, you have something for us?
Good evening, President Horker. Yes, this Wednesday at 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. is our annual Coffee with a Cop session, and it will be at the Dunkin' Donuts on Milwaukee Avenue by Lake Cook at the Westin. And it's an opportunity if anybody wants to stop in, and I'll be there for a little while. Other members of the command staff and some frontline officers. So if everybody wants to come in and just say hello or has questions for me or them, we'll be there, and we welcome the opportunity to meet and greet with you. And also, on another note, it's getting darker earlier, and please be more observant of the kids that are used to just dashing around out there and not paying attention to what's going on. And also for pedestrians, please be sure that you're seen before you cross the street and don't assume that the cars see you. That is all.
Thank you, Chief. That brings us to the consent agenda. Clerk Brady.
All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the board member or citizen so request, in which event the items will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items. 11A, we have resolution rejecting all bids for large meter testing for the Village of Wheeling. 11B, resolution granting final acceptance of public and private improvements within the Wolf Road Industrial Subdivision and release of project surety. Ordinance amending Chapter 4.32 of the Village of Wheeling's Municipal Code, alcohol liquor dealers, specifically Section 4.32.085 to increase the authorized number of Class N-L liquor license. 11D, resolution authorizing the village president and village clerk to execute a termination of right of first refusal.
Do we have any questions or comments on the consent agenda? If there are none, I'd exercise a... So moved. Trustee Lang makes the motion. Second.
Second.
Trustee Papantos, roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. There's no old business. That brings us to new business. Clerk Brady, please read 13A, B, C, and D.
Okey doke. Ordinance granting major site plan and building appearance approval for the building addition 265 Alice Street, American Energy Technologies Company, docket number 2021-34. Ordinance granting a variation from Title 19 zoning to reduce the required side yard setback at 265 Alice Street, American Engineering Technologies Company, docket number 2021-33A. Ordinance granting a variation for Title 19 zoning to permit an increase in the maximum height of the fence at 265 Alice Street, American Engineering Technology Company, docket 2021-33B. And ordinance granting a variation from Title 19 zoning to permit an reduction in the minimum number of required off-street parking spaces at 265 Alice Street, American Energy Technology Company, docket 2021-33C.
Mr. Clicker, you seemed very excited by this. I saw you.
Yes, we're very excited about this. The petitioner is, as mentioned, is American Energy Technologies Company, and they're taking the building at 265 Alice, and they're going to be reoccupying it and also constructing a 4,723 square foot addition, two-story addition, and also constructing a 15-foot retaining wall to screen in their courtyard for their purposes, which they can explain if necessary. This is going to be a great addition to the community. It was unanimously recommended for approval at the Plan Commission.
I have questions from the trustees. Trustee Rufato.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here?
Yes.
Come on up to the microphone. Introduce yourself.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Igor Barsakov. I am part owner of this company. And pleased to answer your questions.
Well, thank you for coming into the village. I just have one question. You know, your documents were complete and everything is fine, but I was just wondering, I didn't see any mention about two things. One, are you going to be doing anything with the parking lot? It seemed to be in fairly bad shape.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we are inheriting it from Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah, right.
It's in terrible shape, okay, and we are currently in the process of preparation of the permit package, and our architect is here. We absolutely are going to, at the very least, refinish that, that parking lot. Obviously, we're going to put stripes. You cannot even see the, the stripes where the cars can park. But we're also contemplating putting a concrete, parking lot instead of asphalt.
Great.
So that's kind of in works and subject of approval, of building department.
Great, thank you. And then there's 3 bays in the building. Are those all going to be used, truck bays?
Yeah, so there are actually 2 truck bays.
2? Okay.
2, right? So
that's right.
we anticipate that we're going to need like 1 of those bases. And it's just 1 spare, right? So
that was all I had. Thank you and welcome.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, we are in Arlington Heights. I wanted to mention the company is 12 or 13 years old. And we are in nanotechnology and batteries, heavily working with Department of Defense. We are a contractor to DoD and supplier of critical materials. We're extremely pleased to be welcomed here in the village of Wheeling. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Prapantos.
Thank you, and welcome to Wheeling, and thank you for coming to Wheeling. When you're doing this expansion and the work, how long will it take? Do you plan to be at the facility at that time, or are you going to move after everything's done?
Thank you. Excellent question, of course. We are planning to start moving into the facility around March, April of next year. We anticipate that we will be granted an opportunity to start at least the concrete work right? The main utilities which need to be moved, moved further to accommodate this new building addition, that comes as priority, as well as the main concrete walk, right? Then we can move our people from Arlington Heights facility while building this two-story addition, which we are talking about, the 5,000 roughly square foot addition.
So you will be working at the building while you're doing construction?
That's correct, yes. Okay. That's the plan.
And how many, you're getting a reduction or a variance on parking, so we're going, it should be 40 some, and you're going down to 24. Mm-hmm. How many employees do you have, and with construction workers, are we going to be okay?
Mm-hmm. We strongly believe we are going to be okay. Our company is actually 15 people. We have a very large footprint, the way we operate. It's a graphite business, nanotechnology business. So we need many machines, but we operate in projects. So we'll occupy the entire space, but all in all, it's like 15 people. We have 24 parking spots there, and we don't anticipate needing many more.
Do you have customers? The Department of Defense come in for inspections?
Business to business. I mean, we have visitors, maybe one car is visiting us or two cars are visiting us, right?
But not on a regular basis?
No, it's not, it's not a store, right? It's business to business, really. So majority of work is done over the internet, and we do a lot of international business, that's all.
And is the fire department good with the setback decrease? I'm assuming?
We are.
Thank you. I did watch the plan commission, but I couldn't remember that part. Yeah. Thank you. Welcome to Wheeling.
Thank you very much. Yep. We look forward to working with you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll take these one at a time then. I need a motion to approve 13A. Clerk Brady, would you read that again?
A, okay. 13A was granting major site plan and building appearance approval for the building addition at 265 Alice Street, American Engineering Technology Company.
So moved.
Motion, Trustee Lang, second, Trustee Papantos. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, please read B.
Okay. If I can find it. Granting a variation from Title 19 zoning to reduce the required side yard setback at 265 Alice Street.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Trustee Rufato, second, Trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. C.
Granting a variation from Title 19 zoning to permit an increase in the maximum height of the fence at 265 Alice Street.
Motion.
So moved.
Trustee Kruger, second. Trustee Papantos, roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, and D.
Granting variation from the Title 19 zoning to permit a reduction in the minimum number of required off-street parking spaces at 265 Alice Street.
Motion. So moved. Trustee Lang, second.
Second.
Trustee Rufato, roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, excellent. Welcome to town, Department of Defense.
Yes.
Nice.
What are we on? Okay, so 13E and 13F.
Yes, please.
Ordinance approving final plan unit development plans that will amend ordinance number 4552, which amended ordinance number 3721, which granted planned unit development final plan approval for the Prairie Park condominium development to allow a substantial change to the approval development plans. Document number 2021-35, and a resolution approving the final plat for Prairie Park at Wheeling Subdivision, current address 40-115 Prairie Park Drive, docket 2021-36.
Mr. Clicker.
Yes, before you have a request from the Smith family developers that are seeking the final plan unit development approval to amend the approved Prairie Park condominium plan unit development as required under Title 19 of the Wheeling Municipal Code. Chapter 19-09, Plan Unit Developments, to allow for a substantial change to the approved development plans for non-easement Area 3 and the adjoining common areas for the construction of 18 single-family townhomes rather than the approved 66-unit condominium building, commonly referred to as the fifth condo building. The petitioner received preliminary approval from the Village Board on June 21st. They presented in front of the Plan Commission on September 22nd and did receive a recommendation for approval. They are seeking 4 deviations with this PUD from the municipal code. Those deviations are a minimum parking stall dimension of 9 foot by 18 foot rather than the 9 foot by 18 foot 6 for guest parking along Prairie Court and certain driveway parking as identified in the final site plan. 2, a reduction in the required separation of 30 feet between buildings to 10-foot minimum separation. 3, to allow bicycle parking to be located inside the townhome garages rather than installing external bike racks. And 4, a reduction of the rear yard setback from 30 foot to 8 foot. Along with those deviations, there were conditions of approval that the Plan Commission placed, which were to be addressed prior to the Village Board meeting. Those conditions were that 1, final details of the paver material and specifications shall be included on the final PUD plans prior to the Village Board meeting. 2, the electrical service for the Meadow Lane lift station shall be transferred to the developer's ComEd account, and all previous outstanding balances must be paid to the village prior to the issuance of the first building permit. 3, detention basin number 2 shall be constructed concurrently with the townhome development. At that time, the leasing office trailer and parking lot will require removal in order to fully construct the detention basin. 4, a list of PUD deviations shall be submitted prior to the Village Board meeting. And 5, a final landscape plan shall be revised in accordance with the staff review letter by the end of the day on September 28th. Conditions 1, 4, and 5 have all been addressed, so they have been removed from the draft resolution that is sent before you. And conditions 2 and 3, the petitioner seeks the board's approval to modify the conditions as requested by the preliminary PUD approval. So with that, I do know the petitioner is here and their attorney is here to answer any questions.
Excellent. Mr. Shapiro, come on up. So we got, I understand the as-built drawings have been received also.
Yes.
Excellent. Dated 2013. Awesome. Nice to know they were always available. Thanks for getting them in. Electrical service. When was that supposed to be transferred over?
It was a condition of the preliminary approval. Well, the original, it was supposed to be taken care of some time ago when the metal lift station was constructed. But it was placed as a preliminary condition of approval on the preliminary PUD. I'm sorry, a condition on the preliminary PUD. That was back in June. We did receive an email today that...
I mean, historically, when was that supposed to? Mr. Farrell, you've been here almost, well, more years than me.
Yeah, a long time. As far as the date goes, Meadow Lane probably went back, when was that IGA? Probably 2013, 2014. I don't have the exact date, but it's
about 7 years ago.
But we have had the electrical service transferred over now, and that complicated process and that phone call are done? Awesome. That can take a while, I guess. Detention basin, you're looking for relief on that as well, right?
Yes, we are, President Horker.
In my mind, I see that thing there when those other acreage to the north is still going to be there. But I'm sure other people have other things to say, and generally I don't speak first, so please forgive me for jumping in ahead of time. Anybody want to start? Trustee Papantos.
Sure.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, I always am. There's a couple things that bother me. When can we expect to be paid for the outstanding electric bill balance?
So the outstanding electric balance is not significant. It's like $3,000 or $5,000 left. What we'd asked for is as part of our correspondence was that would be paid at the time of the building permit. It really is not big deal either way, but that was our request. Because
I
it's not
guess
significant.
my comment is, and I'm sorry if this sounds snarky, but if it's not significant and it was supposed to have been paid many years ago, well, the transfer was supposed to have been done, so this shouldn't be a debt that's been incurred, why isn't it paid? I mean, if it's not significant, come on, I read
So, Trustee
5,500.
Papantos, one of the reasons, and it's, I'm just not sure it's something we need to spend a lot of time on in the first place, but one of the things was, we've been, for example, last week, we got a bill for the first time for monies due from 2017. So there has been some, maybe some awkwardness in terms of the billing for that it seems to me now we know what we owe. And so it's been a little choppy. Now that we know, like I said, this is not something I'm going to follow my sword on or go to battle with. It's a request that I think the balance is somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 now, since we got a final amount a couple of weeks ago. So it's our request that we pay a first building permit, but if it's your desire that we pay it, like immediately, so be it. I'm not going to.
Finance department is open tomorrow.
Understood. As soon as if we are fortunate enough with your vote to get both of these approved, as soon as they're signed, sealed, and delivered, you will get a check.
And if you don't, are you saying that you're not going to pay that? I mean, seriously,
No.
I mean.
No. If you don't approve it, I mean, I think we got some work to do that leads me to think that are bigger problems than a $5,000.
That's true. I mean,
right?
but.
So, like I said, it seems to me we don't have to spend a lot of time on, there's been some choppiness in how much is owed, when's it owed, when do we get the bill, We got it worked out. That was our request. We asked for the request, but like I said, I'm not going to go over to war.
Great, so you're going to pay it within this week? Right? Thank you.
The answer is right.
Thank you. I do have problems with the detention, the Northeast Detention Pond. We talked about this when you were here last.
Yes.
And the trailer. It was supposed to have been done. Whether or not we argue that if it's needed, it was a requirement back in 2014 or whenever the final building was built. I'm afraid that if we just keep kicking it down the road, it will never get done, that trailer will still be sitting there until I don't know when. As far as using the trailer as a sales trailer, not this board's problem. I mean, it was supposed to have been gone.
So we did talk about that. I know that engineering has looked at our plans, vetted our plans. Neither the engineering department nor the MWRD find it to be practical. I don't want to speak for engineering. This is my interpretation. Find it to be practical to do that now because the construction is going to go in a sequence that wouldn't make sense to do that now. I believe the engineering has seen information and as well as minutes of meetings that we've had with the MWRD. So from a historical sense, I'm not arguing with you. I told you that last time we were here. From a practical sense, it doesn't make sense to move it now when the sequencing and the construction will be totally different.
Why would that affect the sequencing of construction?
Jamie, you want
Please.
to talk about it?
Per MWRD guidelines, so you have stone that would go at the bottom of that detention. If you have construction going on that drains into that, you're dirtying that detention area. So per MWRD guidelines, they would prefer that to be done at the later stages of the project.
So originally it should have been done at the end of...
At the end of the fifth building, unfortunately, obviously that building wasn't built.
Or so then therefore the end of the fourth building or whenever the decision was
Correct.
made that there was not going to be a fifth building.
Correct. Well, it was always our goal to develop that pad, because I'm sure the village wants tax dollars on it, and that's why we're here. So we'd like to get this project in, and we'll get it removed.
One of the comments that I noted in preparing for this meeting, because I had a feeling you were going to ask a couple questions. The two conditions were requested by the Engineering Division, which does not object to the petitioner's request to address these two conditions at a later time. So that's our engineering department. I'm not being dismissive of what you're saying. I'm just saying these were vetted by your engineering department as well as the MWRD sequencing as Jamie just tried to articulate. So that's why we're making that request.
So if we grant that request, when will that detention pond?
If I remember correctly, if I remember correctly, and I don't remember the meeting, it was, I believe, it was suggested by staff that a certificate of occupancy would not be issued until we began the process of removing it.
Began or it's complete?
Well, the goal obviously is to use that as a sales office. It's existing there. We have that. We can utilize it to sell units. And once we have one up, we plan on doing probably 2 foundations in approximately a month if we get approvals tonight. And so you're talking having one completed sometime late spring, and we'd begin removing it then.
If that's something that the board would want to put in the ordinance, certainly no objection.
And, okay, so I understand why the detention has to wait. I don't understand why the trailer has to stay.
Well, the trailer we'd like to utilize as a sales office.
But that's not a sequencing. That is just something you would like.
Correct. It's there. Obviously, MWRD, as I said, would prefer us to rip up the asphalt at the later stages, meaning when most of the earthwork is done, which won't be until probably the summer. But as I said, we're okay. Well, it doesn't, but my point is the trailer's sitting there. It's, I mean, that's up to you, I guess, but that's what we're asking. We're requesting that because we have a viable sales office on site. To me, it's the pragmatic approach, but ultimately it's obviously your decision.
And where do you stand with MWRD for permitting? I know your crystal ball's, well, it's probably better than mine.
It was submitted on the 3rd, and Cliff will actually be making a phone call tomorrow because we should have already heard back from them.
The 3rd of?
September.
So is that typical that within a month you would expect an MWRD permit?
Yes, first review, yes. We should have already had it. You should have had it probably 3 or 4 business days ago.
And do you know if that's how they're working? Are they up to date?
As far as I know, yes.
We haven't heard of any problems, so it seems like a typical process.
Okay, so that is typical. They would let you know if there was a problem by this point?
That's my understanding.
We just received our IEPA permits today.
IDPA is?
IEPA, Illinois Environmental Protection Agency.
Thank you. And you've got those permits today, you said?
Yep.
What other permits are you waiting on?
We've submitted with the village for early review and MWRD.
Okay. And so, and you would not have any IDOT, no, not over there?
No.
Right. Okay. Tell me about the landscape architecture plan.
There was some back and forth with Plan Commission based on symbol size, what they felt could fit, some variables that maybe they weren't used to, but I feel that we've worked it out with staff and maybe had some growing pains, but we got through it, and I think it's extremely nice.
Okay, I mean, I did watch the Plan Commission meeting. There was a lot of growing pains and.
No pun intended.
Yeah. I mean, I understand you have a wonderful landscaper. Yes, your development looks good, but a landscaper is not a landscape architect. And I think that was the point that was trying to be made.
The point was made. The landscape plan was submitted, whatever revised or completed or whatever landscape plan was submitted the very next day. And I believe staff has signed off on it and they're okay with it.
I can attest to that we've come to an agreement that the quantities in that will be sufficient for the site. The types of plants that are going to be out there will be appropriate. We'll field verify upon completion that they are, and the quantities are as listed on the plan are installed.
Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Pontos. Trustee Kruger, you have something?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Shapiro, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith. First, I would like to address something. Attorney Shapiro, you've said a couple times now that the amount owed for the ComEd bill is somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000.
5.7.
Your letter,
yeah.
your letter of departures dated September 27th clearly states, allow this email to also reflect our formal request that the village board consider allowing the balance of $5,517.99.
I stand corrected, yes, I guess
Electric
my
bill
estimate was a little loose.
As of
Correct.
August 31st.
Yep.
So, so that said, you know what it is, you know what it is.
Yep.
And I would like to address that one first. This one, I'm not going to lie to you, this one upset me the most, just because, like Trustee Papantos has said, and you're very well aware, this one sounded like as long as it's been on the books to be done, it's been not addressed yet, and now we're being asked to wait until building permit is pulled before it's finalized. I would like to submit or propose additional language to this condition that this item must be completely resolved. All outstanding debt for even beyond 8/31, from 9/1 until whenever that service is transferred out of the village's name, be resolved by close of business Friday, October 8th. That's 5 days to resolve everything, write some checks, and be done with this.
Okay.
I don't want to wait till building permit is basically what I'm saying. I appreciate that items 1, 4, and 5 of the other conditions were addressed and met, though there may have been some speed
And
bumps
move right
along the
here.
way.
You're like a split screen.
I'm-
It's better, yeah.
Gotta love the plexiglass. So I appreciate that. Thank you for doing those 3 things. But again, and I just addressed the condition number 2, which was the ComEd service. But regarding the sales trailer and the detention, I'm hearing the pragmatic ask, and I have a question. When is the last time that anyone has ever been inside that trailer?
Probably a few weeks ago, but someone's actually been in it for sales purposes. Last unit, I think, closed in 2016.
Okay.
But then obviously we were also pre-selling.
Well, I drove by it today. I had some other business that I had to take care of today, and I did the Bermuda Triangle of Lake Cook Road and thought I'll swing by and just see, because I have not seen the trailer that everyone talks about. So I drove by and I saw it today, and I mean, I saw like a piece of plywood in one of the windows on the north side of the trailer. I saw lots of like Rubbermaid, storage boxes and stuff. I mean, I imagine it's been used as storage, but I would like to submit that an additional language be added to this condition, that this trailer and the surrounding area be cleaned and prepared for use as asked and inspected by our CD department within 30 days after approval of final PUD, assuming that is tonight.
Can I just seek clarity on that, Trustee Kruger?
Sure.
Does that request include the transfer or the moving of the trailer, or
No,
that
no,
it
no.
be cleaned
I'm
and
basically
inspected?
saying I understand you want to use it, and that you have said yourselves that you will remove it after you've built your first building of 3 units.
We have no objection.
And then, so then I'm just saying, clean it up, make sure that it is suitable for people to walk in, so have our CD department inspect it within 30 days after you receive approval of this final PUD.
Understood.
So, and then,
Understood.
and then on to the second part of that, with regards to the trailer, one of my questions was, what's the maximum timeline for the sales trailer to be used? But I hear that you're going to take that trailer down after you've built your first building.
Once we have a unit completed that we can then use to
as a model?
show, then we will begin
Makes
getting it out of
sense.
there.
I mean, I don't know how long that takes. I'm certainly no builder. But I would like to add also to the language to that condition that the trailer must be removed before first TCO or temporary certificate of occupancy on the first building.
That's fair, and that, I believe, that was in a previous staff report, which is why.
But I want it in the ordinance.
That's- and we're
So that
fine.
we don't look like the bad guy 30 days from now or 5 days from now when we don't get a check or we don't see that trailer get moved.
Understood.
Fair enough.
Clean.
And cleaned up, yeah, I mean.
You said moved.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, understood.
The movement is after,
Yes, correct.
the movement is the after.
Just clarify.
Got it. Do you guys have it so that you can put it on the conditions better, Jim?
I wrote it down.
Okay, fair
You wrote
enough.
it down.
I wrote it down, I believe.
I will pull.
Now, I did a whole lot more research, probably more time than I should have spent, and I was going to go to the homecoming game instead, and then I read the paper on how poorly they did. Sorry, Wildcats. But I stayed home and read all of this, and stormwater management and mitigation is a big deal to me, always has been. And I know that that number 2 detention basin is 0.297 acre feet, which sounds like not a whole lot, but every little bit matters when it comes to that site being next to the diversion channel and less than a half mile away from that Des Plaines River. So anything that we can do to create more detention and hold back more water so it doesn't, for mitigation purposes, the better. So the sooner that we can see that thing built, the better.
And that's better for us because we want to obviously build it as quickly as possible in some of those units, and so we want to move it sooner.
That's right, and you've got 7 other acres, and you've got 17 other acres, and, every bit of retention that we can have in that, as you know, soggy bottom area.
That's why we overbuilt so much on that 17 acres.
Well, I wish you very much luck with MWRD. One of my conditions or questions was going to be more aligned with MWRD in that I couldn't in good conscience say yes to this thing until I heard what they had to say, but I understand that that is not typical in a PUD, but I'm worried. I'm worried about the proximity to the basin.
So our civil has had a number of preliminary conversations, and they have no problem as long as we follow all their guidelines, which we are.
And I'm sure your engineering department's going to keep us to task too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure they will. Right now, if we can just get a little bit clearer language in those conditions about those 2 holdover items from your old project, just to get these done. Those are the ones that shook my head the most. That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Kruger. Are there any other concerns? Trustee Rufato, you had something.
Yes, I do. Thank you. As far as the trailer goes, whatever the conditions are, I'm fine with, and I was always okay with leaving the trailer there. You have it, use it for a sales office, because I wouldn't know where would you have put up a little tent with a heater in it? No, so that makes practical sense, and it sounds like that we have the verbiage in place in the ordinance that will now finally get rid of it. And I can understand why it was actually there, because you were sometime hoping to have a 5th building, and that didn't occur. So, and that's unfortunate, but fortunate from this standpoint. Something just came up about the MWRD. You submitted it on September 3rd, and this is really more of a process question for me than anything else. You haven't heard from them, and you're waiting for your first review.
Yeah. Specifically 15 business days.
I'm sorry, what was that?
15 business days.
Okay, so what does the first review mean? Are there going to be more reviews after that?
Comments, so we expect to address them now. It's case-by-case situation.
Okay.
So I can't, I don't have a crystal ball, but Cliff, our civil, as I said, has already had quite a number of conversations with MWRD, and they have no problem with anything.
So, in other cases where you've dealt with the MWRD, are there multiple reviews that you have to go through, or is it just updates?
There can be. It depends. It's case by case.
Okay. All right. So most likely after your first review, and it's unfortunate that you're supposed to get it in 15 days, and now you're at 30 days. It's unfortunate that they, I'm sure they're having staffing issues and things like that, but hopefully that will get resolved.
And that is our hope.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. I was just curious about that. Then my other questions were more so in general and based upon the Plant Commission meeting from the other day, and it's actually probably the whole project. It seems to me that there were many, Mr. Shapiro called them at the last meeting minor adjustments, and I think it was maybe Commissioner Johnson, Chairman Johnson, who said if they were just simple changes or minor adjustments, why weren't they done? And it seemed that from what I remember, I think engineering there were some outstanding issues around boring that had to be done, and I think those are being adjusted. And he was making engineering, Kyle was there, and he said, okay, we can live with that. But it seems that throughout this whole project, that's what we've had. We've had to adjust to the schedules, and I have a timeline here, and, you know, Mr. Shapiro, you used the word animosity at the meeting, and it seemed to me that you're putting the, sort of like the blame on the Plan Commission for not approving this, whereas it should be shared. I don't even know if it should be shared, because how many times throughout this whole process were there resubmittals going on all the time? And I just don't understand that. And then to say that the Plan Commission was to blame for this is inexcusable. And I wonder if neighboring communities would allow the documents and the packet to go through. And there's still, even now, there's still a lot of questions. And I just question that. The project seems fine, and there's a lot of work put into that, but then at the last minute, to constantly ask them for their approval, and then to say, I need your approval, and to say that there's animosity. It was just, for me, it was inexcusable on your part to even say that, because they were doing all of their work, and the staff was doing all of their work.
I'd be happy to respond to that, Trustee Rufato.
Sure.
I'd never once in this project have blamed anybody. I have not blamed the Plan Commission. I have not blamed the staff. What I did say was it was stressful, and I felt there was animosity. But please, with all respect I have for you, sir, please don't put words in my mouth. I never said that. The Plan Commission has a job to do, and it seemed to me that what was happening at the last meeting is it was getting a little tense and personal. But I did not blame the Plan Commission. I respect this body and the Plan Commission too much, and I believe you know that, sir.
Well, maybe it was the tone. Yeah,
I apologize.
And I will tell you, it did come off that way.
Okay, then
it
it certainly was not my intent to cast blame to anybody.
Right.
And I'll say this in public and anyone listening, that if it came off that way, I apologize, but it certainly was never my intent.
Because it surely did, and you know, I know the staff has been working along with the Smith family to get this done.
Yes, they have.
You know, and I'm sure it will be a successful project. But
from your mouth to God's ears.
Yeah, exactly. And I just, I'm not certain. Well, that's all I have to say.
Thank you,
it was just there were.
And I personally apologize to you, since you took offense and you brought that to my attention. I will say that again in public.
Thank you. That was all I had.
Trustee Lang, nothing?
All I do want to say is that, you know, I expect nothing but a great project out of this. You guys have a track record of good projects. The Smith team has appeared before the Plan Commission and this village board numerous times. You guys could practically write the book on how to put a presentation together. And, you know, again, this time there were a lot of unanswered questions, and, you know, I'd like to see for future, because there is future development, that we don't get to this point again. Let's, you know, I don't think that Ross's team had pushed back in any form that they wouldn't have done with any other petitioner that wanted to build in this town. I think he was doing, him and his team are doing everything they can to stand up for the ordinances in Wheeling. So I'm just saying that I think going forward that you guys know, and like you said, you could write the book on this because you've been here so many times. And, you know, I look forward to even better projects.
I agree with you 100%, Trustee Lang.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Lang. Trustee Kruger raised 3 separate issues, and Mr. Ferrolo or Trustee Kruger, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'd like to poll the board. We'll do these one at a time. Trustee Kruger's request was for the debt relative to the electric bill be resolved by Friday. Is that correct?
Close of business Friday,
Close of
October
business
8th.
Friday. Trustee Rufato, any objections?
No.
Trustee Kruger?
No.
Trustee Lang?
No.
Trustee Papantos?
No.
I go along with that as well. Trustee Kruger also raised that the trailer be cleaned up and inspected and ready to be used within 30 days of this approval. The final PUD?
Final PUD.
Yes.
Trustee Papantos, how do you feel about that?
It's fine.
You can say, well.
Well,
yes, actually, you
I
can
would
say
like the
no.
trailer removed, but, it's fine.
Trustee Lang?
Well, I certainly don't think the trailer should be removed if it's going to be used, but is there...
This is just to have it inspected and ready to use.
Sure. Is there much work that needs to be done to get it going?
No, the only thing is just rehooking up electric and water.
Okay.
But I think 30 days.
You had a power source still there, from what I could tell this morning.
No, it is. It's just rehooking.
Overgrown, weeds.
Everything else is just moving.
Inside, clean it, just make sure
Yeah,
that
it's
there's anything
honestly,
else living in
inside
it.
is actually clean. I was in there 2 weeks ago. It's just model furniture store that was going to be used, and the next one we'll find somewhere else.
Fair enough. I just want CD to look at it and make sure that it's suitable for the public and your potential buyers to be safe in there.
So Trustee Lang, was that?
Now, yes, it's fine.
Thank you for the clarification, Trustee Kruger.
Yes.
Trustee Kruger, yes. Trustee
Yes.
Rufato?
Yes, of course. Yep.
Okay, the final point that Trustee Kruger brought up was that it must be removed before the first temporary certificate of occupancy is listed. Trustee, is that right? Trustee Lang, how do you feel about that?
That's fine.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
I know. Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
I'm fine with that as well. I also agree with the 30 days. So those need to be written, those conditions need to be added to the language for the final.
It's Section F. Those are amendments to Section F in the ordinance. So if we can get a motion to approve the ordinance, subject to amendments to Section F to reflect Trustee Kruger's conditions as read by President Horker.
Need a motion for that.
So moved.
Trustee
Second.
Kruger, second. Trustee Papantos, are you ready? Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Just follow the rules, guys. Yes. We also need, F is also part of this, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
And for clarification, trustee, you don't want to be a trustee. Clerk Brady, please read F again.
F is approving the final plat for Prairie Park at Wheeling Subdivision, current address 40-115 Prairie Park Drive.
Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Trustee Kruger, second.
Second.
Trustee Rufato. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Deep breath. Oh, it's a craft grower.
All right.
Clerk
so-
Brady, G, please.
G, granting a one-year extension of time for a special use approved under ordinance number 5360 for a cannabis craft growing and infuser in the I-1 light industry and office district and a cultivation center in the 1-3 general industry district. 1480 South Wolf Road, 1837 Craft Grow LLC, docket number 2021-40.
That's I-1 and I-3. Those are industrial districts. Mr. Clicker, what do we got?
Yeah, before you, petitioner, 1837 Craft Grow, they have been, they need a one-year extension of their special use as they have not been able to obtain the licensing from the state of Illinois regarding this. grow facility. Their attorney is present to answer any questions regarding that timeline, and they have, like, they do believe that within the next year they will have it all resolved.
Questions? Trustee Papantos, Mr. Counselor, dude, what's up?
Everybody would be disappointed if I didn't have questions. Of
course.
No, we wouldn't.
You see what I put up with? Anyway, 2 of them left. I remember coming in over a year ago, and everybody reads the paper and what's going on with the state. So I guess that's the question, what's going on with the state, and why are you asking for this extension? Do you still have hope to get the license?
Yes, thank you for the question. There was an initial round of licenses awarded, and my client wasn't part of that initial group. They received what's called a deficiency notice, saying they needed to correct some portions of their application, and they could resubmit. So there are 60 more licenses that are for craft growers that are going to be issued before the end of this year. And so our hope is that we're going to be one of those 60 winners. We also have a lawsuit that's pending. That's a side issue, but it's there was a question as to veterans. We didn't have a veteran, I think, on our application initially, and so we basically sued, saying that the state instructions were a little bit murky on that issue. But we are confident that we're going to get a license, hopefully by the end of this year. And the state says that if you do get one of those licenses, you have to build out basically within that year. So basically 300 and something days after that. So we're hopeful that we're going to get one of these licenses. We're going to be able to submit our building permit plans and open up shop.
And when do they expect to award those 60?
I think it's in the next couple of months, but it's any time before the end of the year.
Okay, well, that is the next couple of months.
Yes. Hopefully very soon.
Okay, and so the deficiencies that they felt you had on your license, you've corrected, and it should be going through? I mean, as far as you're concerned?
I'll let Mr. Zitzman, who's the developer and the applicant with the state, I'll let him address that, since I didn't submit the state application. So I'll let John Zitzman. John, if you want to state your name and your work address.
John Zitzman, 2506 North Clark Street, Suite 288, Chicago, 60614. And I am a managing member of 1837 Craft Grow.
So the question was, the deficiency notice that was issued, have you responded to that?
Those were due Friday, so there were an initial 40 licenses issued in July. Those people received a deficiency notice in June. Those 40 were awarded. The state issued another round of deficiency notices 10 days ago. We were one of those recipients, which is the same process that they follow prior to issuing the licenses. We submitted those corrections to the state, and we just wait their response. We did win a transportation license in the first round, so we're fairly confident that we should have a license in the next 30 to 60 days.
And what is a transportation license?
That allows you to transport cannabis. It's a special license.
I remember reading some time ago that in certain states, the demand outweighs the supply because you can't transport from another state. Is that the fact here in Illinois?
Well, I mean, it's complicated, but there were only initially 23 licenses issued in the state of Illinois. If you look at a state like Oregon, there are 1,800 existing licenses. So the state is hoping that these craft grow licenses help kind of bridge the gap between the supply and the demand, especially for consumer pricing. But right now in Illinois, the demand far outsees the supply.
Which would, in my mind, make the state want to grant these licenses then?
You'd think, but they're now 15 months late in issuing these craft grow licenses. And it's difficult to find an explanation for that, but I have a lot of theories.
Thank you.
Trustee Rufato?
Just, and it's been a pandemic year, but you must have a lot of money invested into this thing. You don't have to say the amount, but I assume you do.
It's a significant amount, over $500,000 to date, yeah.
Yeah, let's approve this thing.
So, and it'll be another $10 million to get the facility up and running, so.
Wow.
It's a significant investment.
So they've hung in there and they like this property a lot and they want to be in Wheeling.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's it.
If there are no other questions, personally, I mean, if you're paying your bills and you're doing your best, I got no problem leaving you there.
Yeah.
Doing what you're doing. I mean, hopefully you'll become a production site.
That would be great. And we won't leave any outstanding electrical bills with anyone.
For 12 or 14 years? Cool.
Right.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Wow.
Somebody will send me a letter. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Give the motion to trustee Rufato, second to trustee Kruger. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Good luck.
Thank you all. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any official communications? All right, trustee Rufato, then trustee Kruger, and trustee Papantos. Trustee Rufato can start.
I have a question about Halloween hours. Is anything going to be going out on our sites? I haven't seen anything yet about Halloween hours.
Oh, Halloween.
I know my neighbors have asked. Is it this?
Well, we will determine what that is, and we will put it on our social media and our website.
Because I know everything going on. It just happened to pop up as a memory from last year that something came out already, and I was just wondering.
We can do that fairly quickly.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Rufato. Trustee Kruger.
Thank you, Mr. President. Hey, Chief McGreal. Couple things. First of all, how exciting tonight was to see the movement of our guys and a newbie come on board. So congratulations. The second thing was I had asked managers Fondilas if at our meetings we could sort of rattle off some Wheeling vaccination numbers. And I'm wondering if maybe since he's not here, you might have something to share?
Sure, we're good. As of today on the IDPH website, we're looking at for one dose, that's 26,000 roughly, and 23 residents have the first dose, which is about 67.6%. And as far as fully dosed, whether you have the Johnson, because that's just one dose, so they don't go by the second. So fully, it's 24,576, and that's 63.8%. So
staying steady on the.
It's increasing steady. We'd like people to know that the vaccinations are still available, probably more so than ever as far as CVS, Jewel, and some of the other locations. And we are seeing people get the boosters. So the boosters are available if you fit that criteria, and I know some of my first responders and at risk have already received the Pfizer booster.
Very good. That's good to hear too. Thank you. I encourage the public to get vaccinated if you are eligible for any reason. And yeah, I want to get rid of these. I feel like I'm in a phone booth. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Kruger. Trustee Papantos.
Thank you. I just wanted to take a moment to give a shout out to Chief Dunn and Chief McGreal. A neighbor has an autistic son and has already registered with the Return Home Safe program and asked me a question the other day at our cul-de-sac breakfast, because we're weird, that, she had seen in Mount Prospect that there was a sign in some homes' windows indicating, autistic child lives here. And she said, does Wheeling have anything? I said, not that I know of, but, I would ask, and did so, and got responses from, both of our chiefs immediately, and are working to, see what can be done, and just to save, a mother's concern. But she also sent a lot of praise for the Return Home Safe program. Thank you very much, because it means a lot to her and for her son. So, thank you.
Thank you, trustee Papantos. Relative to the, you got something?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that my research team is on it, and Halloween hours are 3 to 7. We'll get that published.
That's,
On what day?
That would be on Halloween day.
I had the pleasure of attending a little thing over at Jack London Junior High School, the District 21 Brad Schneider appreciation thing, and while I was there, I got to talk to, I was too late to meet Mr. Schneider, I had work. But the District 21 actually is working on inoculations for kids, and they had some programs to help the parents who work weird hours and can't get it done. They're actually being proactive towards helping do this, and I think that's a little shout out to District 21 and Pritzker and oh God, I forgot his name. Huh?
Edich?
No, the John's counterpart.
Dr. Connolly?
Connolly. There we go. God. Bad to be bad with names and sit here. Anyway, they're doing a really good job in helping with all of this stuff. That's all I have. Anybody want to be here longer? Scratching heads? Nope. Good to go. Good to go. If we have no other official communications, you do have before you a set of bills. They should be for September 16th through the 29th of 2021. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second. Motion, Trustee Kruger. Second, Trustee Rufato. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, we have no executive session tonight, so I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion, Trustee Kruger, second Trustee Papantos. It says roll call.
You can do all in favor on,
That's
because
what I
we're all here.
thought.
We're all here again, we're not doing a virtual meeting, you can do all in favor on.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody who's not in favor can stay as long as you like. Good night.